Are you expecting Dom tonight?
I did not hear that he wasn't attending, and still. So. Friends. Sometimes people don't.
Oh, no, certainly not.
In general, but I also said to balance it out, I think everybody on the commission. I think we're all emailing.
Yes.
So that means we don't.
Life experience.
I would go there.
Yeah, so, anyway, I guess I'll kind of start off, and this was actually Mike's suggestion. We have early meetings. Yeah. Adjusting the schedules for a couple of meetings earlier, obviously this night. And house,
Yeah.
where everybody. So, hey, what I had, what I asked the staff. Do some stuff. What are services? You know. For sure. That's
Does
a,
this even go in?
yeah. Question.
Everything goes
Does it
under.
go under the director?
Sure.
You're sharing.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that's got sense. I don't know, Mary Jo, do you want to start?
Okay, I'm the supervisor of Thrive 55, and I do anything and everything but these guys and work on the programming, but also do the budget. And I also make sure that we provide services that are part of a senior center. I work with some of the staff on transportation. I work with staff on nutrition services, which we provide here. So it's kind of, I'm supporting that role and following up with Mark on what we're doing and where the money's going and what I'm.
You downplay that she writes so many grants.
Yeah. I like to forget that, but.
Yeah, and she does it very well. And she always.
Usually we deserve it. Why don't we start with Cindy?
I am one of the program supervisors. I oversee the tech center here, which is run by volunteers, except for myself. We're running it 5 days a week. Right now we're 3 days a week, looking for more volunteers. We do it daytime, but we also offer it in the afternoon. So volunteers, we use high schoolers and ages. We run programs, all sorts of programs. We all support each other. But myself, I run the Aging Mastery Program, which is an NCOA National Aging Program, at least twice a year. It's a 10-week program that helps those who, it's usually mostly those who just retired, try to acclimate to where they're at now, and oh, I'm 20, or what am I doing now, and all the different topics of that. I also oversee all the day trips, the extended trips, which I usually share the part, but we get commission from those. And I also do our OATS program, which is outdoor active thriving.
Oh.
We do hikes. We did the rope climbing course. We've done tubing down the Farmington River. What else have we done? Oh, kayaking we do a few months in the summer. Yeah.
Do fields of fire.
Fields of fire, yeah. So do all that, and then we support each other in the building. Yeah.
And the overnight trips.
What?
10 to 14 days.
Oh, yeah.
Ice swims, whatever sort of-
So we have people actually out in Hawaii right now, and we get 10% commission. Nice. We have Iceland. We just did our 2025 calendar. Going to Costa Rica, Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Amalfi Coast, Spain, Amalfi Coast, New Orleans again because people really loved it. So we try to do 5 to 6 of those trips a year, plus we do 2 that are bus trips, because not everybody likes.
Oh, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
I'm gonna miss them, one of my best friends. So there's
Oh,
Jim.
there's Jimmy.
Sorry, I'm late.
It's okay, oh, perfect.
So, but
Hello, Kathy.
Hello, Jimmy.
Yeah, Joe.
My name is Tony, I'm program supervisor. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I oversee the self-directed volunteer group here at the center. I recruit volunteers, orientate volunteers, I think that everything. I oversee our garden program along with some of our volunteers. Last summer we raised what, 600 and this was let's see, I have the Discover Connections Center I facility. That is a group, the cognitive group and program for cognitive impairments. Someone could have had a stroke or TBI or Alzheimer's. Also to be at risk for or depression, anxiety. So, and they meet twice a week and brain exercises, exercise, music, art, social, go out sometimes, community, field trips, going on 6 years now. And then let's see. Well, yeah, I oversee the Cove volunteers there with Vermont. I oversee the art programs currently. I also hold sip and paints here at the center. I help the desk. Little this, little that.
We work with the club and also the library. She does outdoor market and car show in June. And so she works on some of the special events.
Tell me how many volunteers?
Currently, right now, I would say probably about 101 volunteers. And
And how many hours
Oh,
on average?
so we messed up December's hours. I meant to send an email. We actually had 969 volunteer hours in December.
Just in the month of December.
Just for the month of December, yeah. We're trying to hit 1,000. I keep getting volunteer meetings. I'm like, let's hit 1,000, guys. So yeah. It's just, I mean, there's other things I just can't. Yeah, we are. And we try to match. And like, we support each other.
Oh, you're Renaissance women.
Yeah, I like that, thank you.
And self-directed groups came from the National Council on Aging, and it really means that you get a group together, you kind of give them a goal and let them direct how it goes. So that it takes the workload off of everybody. So the Cove is our coffee house that we have in the mornings, Monday through Friday. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's like 30 people that are out there just socializing. It's like cheers. They've all of a sudden discovered this coffee house. So it's really, really nice. And the volunteers decide what's gonna go and ask questions. And so they kind of direct things like the gardening, they
Like
direct what
this-
we plant.
The self-directed groups, I mean, I have found, I'm sure, it really keeps the volunteers engaged. It really gives them a purpose. It makes them feel like, wow, you know, I'm really doing something different. So, it's been wonderful. And, you know, and like Mary just said, like, you know, we have so I'm a part of the garden group and I go to the meetings, such as because I'm so passionate about the gardens. But really when we're in a meeting, it's like, I'll say to them, what do you guys want to plant this year? What do you think was successful about last year? What do we want to do going forward? What kind of things were not so successful? And I really take all their opinions and they basically run the show. The same with the Cove. We'll meet, talk about things, but Jean, she's like, you know, she is the boss of the Cove. And then also too, I have a volunteer a volunteer assistant volunteer coordinator, and that is a volunteer position. And she's fabulous, and I always tell her I couldn't do what I do without her, because like Mary just said, she takes loads off my plate by, tracking the hours and things like that, and her and I meeting and talking about volunteer evaluations, and hey, can you call these 5 volunteers or blah, blah, blah. So that's just awesome. And we're looking for volunteers, if you'd like to sign up.
I'm the third program supervisor. I'm Kathy, and I kind of like them. We always jump in where we're needed, but I do a lot of the community events. Like we have like 4 or 5 big ones here. Like we have our Super Bowl coming up in February. It's the day before the Super Bowl. And the area businesses donate soup, and everybody comes. We've had to turn people away because it's that popular, and we kind of fascinated with it. So that's probably our largest. And then we have the chili cook-off. And the one nice thing about the chili cook-off is we incorporate our fire, police, and EMS. They make chilies, and then they come in and they serve it. So the people that come to the event get to see our public servants who are here to do everything and outside of the town. We have, Norwich has come before. The city always comes. So we have outside of the town. And we do a pizza party, which area businesses donate pizza, and we have pizza and dancing and things like that. We have an expo where area business come. We have that in May. They showcase their businesses and their area of expertise. People walk through and gather all the information, questions. And with these events, the one thing, because these people give so much to us, we've developed a dining out program and a breakfast out and lunch, because especially in the winter months, but we go to dining out every month, and everybody who gave us something, we go back to that restaurant. And between 20 and 30, sometimes 35 people go and order off the menu just to say thank you for all that you do to support us. And the same thing like with the pizza, like sometimes pizza places we think, oh, they're not that big. So in the winter months, so people aren't isolated on the weekends, we're doing lunch out and so that they can get inside. So that has been incorporated since we've done like the bigger asking for things. I do a lot of arrange a lot of our talks like with Harvard Healthcare. Harvard Healthcare is one of our probably our biggest partners. So every month we have every month scheduled for a talk with them, whatever the month is. Like February is heart healthy, so they'll come in and talk on heart healthy. March is colorectal, so they'll come and bring physicians come in from either Waterford or Mystic. They come in and speak about it. So we do that, and I also deal with seniors who come in who are in who need help. We've had a few people that have come in that are homeless, so we try to work with them. With with the police department, we work really closely with the police department, with our community police officers, Sharif and Heather, and the community outreach there, Maria. We work with them to accommodate anybody who is having, whether it be an issue. Surprisingly, there are some seniors who have domestic issues, and they're afraid to call the police. So we just have them go in and speak to them and get things worked out. If somebody we haven't seen them in a while, we arrange name checks so we can check on them to make sure they're okay, and that we just want to make sure that they're safe. So Harvard Healthcare is doing a mobile hub here on February 8th, where they bring in a variety of things to, like they'll do blood pressure, A1C, mental health awareness. They have different people from all their divisions. They come in, and it's just kind of a walk through the tables. That need privacy, they go into another room. So we do all that. So we try to do a little bit of all well-being.
She also is in charge of transportation, and we do 2 vans full day, 3 times a week, and then twice a week we have 3 vans out all. And it's a juggle to get people to and from they need to go. So we really try to stick by rules and regulations we've set up. In addition, we have a grant that we've been doing for 16 years. Started with Groton, East London, Waterford, now expanded to 13 towns in the county. And it's for over 300,000 for medical transportation. And Groton is a fiduciary. And that gets people to and from. They get 12 round trip rides at no cost for medical appointments. But if you have a family member drive you and you're from one of the towns, we actually pay the family member mileage. So we have people that are on dialysis that have to go 3 times a week. So we will pay for their doctor's visits, and then their family member gets reimbursed for mileage because they're taking them 3 times a week. It works out for people and it's for people who are seniors as well as people with special. The transportation program is a big program. We have 4 vehicles at this. Yes, we deliver meals at lunchtime, we do bank runs, we do grocery shopping, and it's a big program without seeming like.
We have the best drivers.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
best
Yeah.
drivers.
After you left out something related to transportation.
Oh, yellow dot. But I don't actually understand. I did assist with that. We do a yellow dot program with the police department where they fill out, because it was important, like if people, we want people to, I don't know if you're aware of like the envelopes, the blue envelopes and the green envelopes, like blue envelopes are for people with autism. So if they get pulled over, because they get really nervous, they pull out the blue envelope and hand it to the police officer so that it changes how the police officer will then interact. So we had the yellow dot program a long time ago, and Elizabeth encouraged us to restart it. So we did with Sharif and Heather, and Sharif has kind of taken over. So what it is it's a yellow envelope, and inside it has all the medical information that if there was an accident, it has all your medical information listed. It has who your doctor is and things like that, and your emergency contact. The one thing that goes in there is going to be a copy of your license, because sometimes your son or the mother, the daughter could be driving, and if they look very similar, you want to make sure that if there's an accident, that the ID goes with the one that needs to be, that goes to. So we started that, and we go out 22nd to Fairview to
I forgot to mention, we offer health service for the second Monday of the month, and in March, we're going to start a grief support.
Joe and I have been working with Groton Parks Foundation with the luminary box. We raise funds for them. We have that in March. It's in March.
Saturday.
And then also I also run special events. But I do the dinner dances and this, and then we all are together. But I get to edit the newsletter, which is a newsletter. 2,600 copies of. Most times we run out of, and we also have it online. So I think that covers the work.
And we have luncheons here at the center. The club has their luncheons. So.
Oh, and the entertainment showcase. Is it not?
No.
Oh, and we've got pickleball.
Oh, yeah. And I was gonna say, we do have bingo. I mean, it goes back to my mother's. Yeah.
Is Thrive, does it fall under Parks and Rec? Yes. Thanks for you doing, something to do. Appreciate it. Tech Center, is it like, I think Tech Center, I think like.
Yeah,
Tech Center?
yeah, so
What is it?
our tech center is very, a lot of various things. I had somebody recently, I helped them get their driver's license renewed, because she doesn't have. But we have who's our current volunteer in there, Tom Kerrigan, he comes in and he helps everybody, like, the laptop's not working or it's lagging. He worked in ED's IT department, so he's really well versed in how to fix those things. Where I'm more of the social media end of it, like I can help him on Facebook, I can help you, you know, figure out your phone stuff or your gadget. But we try to help as much as we can. If we don't, then we'll move you on, but for most things, we can help you. It does that every now and then, Mark, it's just the.
Oh, but I see this 5. Well, that's what I was.
But we are always looking for volunteers there as well, so if you or anyone you might know.
I talk about trips a lot.
Yeah.
So like there's trips, like I know like online thing through the plan, sports stuff. Those trips, the same ones that are in that trip thing, Discover, yeah.
So there's
Are they
Discover,
separate?
so there's Recreation Discover.
Yeah.
And then there's our Discover, which I should have brought one in.
Ours is discovered.
Ours is Discover 55.
But it's not like it's not on the, I call it the Parks and Rec Discover, whatever, like,
Yeah.
so it's different, there's like
So-
two sets of trips that go on.
No, those, I oversee those
Okay.
trips as well.
Okay.
That's part of us being in.
Okay.
So
So it's all
those trips in
available
there, yeah.
on the website,
Yep.
like in an online portal, say for this.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of trips like that, I figured I just wanted to ask you.
Yeah, so some people who normally ever in here, taking our trip,
And you get
Because
lots
they
of
saw it
out
in
of
the
town
recreation.
folks too.
yeah. No, I live,
Program, but a lot of programs, are they all for like this? Is it for people that are members of the senior center or just programs people just come and take part of throughout?
We don't have a membership, it's age 55 and older.
and not just for
Any town.
But I seem to get a lot of good programs, just wondering like, is it town people here, like, he says not your senior center, probably age groups of different sets of people that do different things that, right, like, probably.
And we charge them as non-residents, just like recreation does.
But you're right. Expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 55 to 65 to
We have-
65 to 75. The 75 plus, they're all doing different.
That's what I mean, like, they're.
But,
yeah,
but at the same
They
time,
can do the same.
like our
Yes.
hikes, I have from 55 to 89. And it's not, these aren't easy hikes.
And like,
This is various, yeah.
and like Discover Connections, I have people who are like 63, 92. That's how they go.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot of them. Leangel.
Yes.
Is there anything from you guys want from us, like, say, kind of like, like, no, you're in front of your boss, you wanna tell them the good, the bad, the ugly, or something?
Well,
I always wanted to say, to, like, someone, like, the big parent, like, we're here to listen to you something.
Well, I mean, I would like to say, first of all, we have an event that I also forgot. We have a, called the Gong Show, but we have to
I didn't want to
spell it differently because of.
It's
because
kind
of
of like
the-
a
because of
trademark.
copyright, But it's basically a 55 and older talent show.
Okay.
So I would love to have you guys, we always try to have 3 judges. We'd love to have you guys, if you're available, be judges.
Mark,
To have
always
you-
likes
so you
to
can
watch.
see- You can see more of us.
Yeah, I participate every year, I press.
Dance your heart out.
It's worth the
And I'm not a
evening
very good
away.
dancer.
That's a fun night.
Give it your all.
Yeah, it's on the back,
Is it on here?
the Gong Show. February, I'm like, the 26th,
I don't.
Right there.
23rd.
So
26th.
if anyone on the council is interested, you just let Mark know or do that.
Yeah, you can mark now and reach out. All our emails will be there.
Invitations and
I have a follow-up question. At last month's meeting, which Mark could not attend, the proposal for a social worker came up. Then Dom had a question about why 555 would have a social worker independent of human services. And I was wondering if you could talk to that.
We put in for a very part-time position, and it's mainly because some of the work that staff has done and some of the things that we need support from a social worker from are beyond what human services or the outreach social workers from the police department do. Part of the state statute for a senior center is that we do case management. And so to have somebody, like Kathy said, sometimes we're dealing with people who are considered non-residents, but they're homeless and they live in town, but they don't have an address. And they have found us, and they are 55 and older. And so trying to assist them. Some of the other things that human services doesn't work on if a senior is having financial difficulty and they're going to be evicted, they don't work on evictions. So we try to get them into, the state social work services. So if we had a social worker on site, that could, again, get them quicker into referrals. We've done a lot of learning on our own in the last 5 to 10 years, but there's more population of older adults that now are coming to us with issues that are more social work.
And I think they're more comfortable coming here, asking for the help, than they are going to human services.
Actually, you're right, because hearing from my peers,
Yeah.
they'd be far more likely to talk to one of you they know and trust now.
Especially if they're embarrassed about it.
Oh, yeah. Prize our independence.
Catherine's had some great success. But you find a place to live,
Mhm.
or
Got a
another
grant?
person, find a job. Some of
Got a
the
grant?
other issues that come up, it's like boiler's not working, you got no house. Kathy has found a plumber that donated time
Yeah.
so that they could, so we kind of have a track record of
Right.
success.
We put a ramp on a woman's house, she
right.
couldn't get out. So, we got all the material donated from Home Depot. And we had a fireman who was a contractor, and we had a police officer. They had contracted skills, and they went with the grant funds. So,
That's not in the job description, so it's, like you said, I think it's because people feel comfortable.
And part, again, if you go back to the state senior center definition, part of what we do we are also mandated reporters. And I tend to get more of those where I'll deal with protective services and getting somebody, so a senior may report their senior
Yeah,
neighbor that really needs to have protective services involved. It is difficult to get through to protective services. And I am like a dog going after a bone. Because I know, I've been here long enough to know different contacts at the state, so I'll do my workaround to get to elderly services. We had one long-term member of the senior center that his neighbor, his wife passed. When she passed, his dementia just flew. And he would go next door to her because he knew her for assistance. And it was difficult to get protective services out there. But once they have a case number and see it as a case, then if you're calling and say, hey, I know he's got a case number, you gotta look it up and you gotta get out there to see him. And eventually his son was able to get him down to Texas. Where living on his own and stuff, he just said, I'm fine, tell his son he's fine. When his neighbor's calling the son from Connecticut saying, he's not fine, you really need to get up here. And they were able to, protective services actually going into the home right away, contacted the son and said, this needs to be dealt with right away. So it's not that there's always people that are going to human services where the police are running into these cases. Sometimes it's seniors calling us and saying, what can you do? And once they tell you what's going on, we're mandated by the state to report it to protective services.
And I think Tom's question, sounds like a good, biggest question. I have some at work, I have this with like reduced disability bags. Should that person report, I don't answer. Should they report up through one of your structures or report through the Health and Human Services of the station here? That's the question maybe on the street. I don't know the answer. I'm just thinking, I'd ask maybe that the recommendation, like, it's funded and they work directly for this, but they sit here because this is where people feel safe, right? And so on. But like, and sometimes there's benefit to report to one of you because then you can directly see them. But then if they're with them, if there's certain trainings and things, they get the benefit of seeing all of the trainings from the Health and Human Services that you may not know, or like I would know. Right? Like that area, it's like just things to consider. They're funded them, but where they sit. I don't know, things like that. That's what I think Dom's getting.
And Mark and I discussed this morning, is that when I started here, which is eons ago, that department was very, very different than it is now. We had a social worker 1 day a week from that department. And they would come and they would see people here. They would also see people in additional hours. So if, like, you came to see them.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, I'm gonna look at this and stuff, they would call you and say, I'm gonna meet you at Thrive 55 now, because I got some follow-up information, or this is what, I want to follow up, versus just always being there that 1 day. They also used to come in and do living will for us, because you need to have, that done specific way. There was a lot that they would come and do, but as that department, like all our departments at one point, got cut and cut and cut and cut, and they lost the numbers of social workers, then they don't come out. And yeah, it would make sense because, again, we have a population, most of our people drive, but we have a population that doesn't drive. So those are the people that we really are more concerned with getting to services. But yeah, they're more comfortable coming.
To your question. If you could speak more highly of, we're not a nursing home. So many people come here and they're like, where's the room? No, we're not a nursing home.
Upstairs.
Yeah. We are a very active center. I invite you to come to lunch sometime for one of our meals. Not just do it, but to mostly just tell people about us. It is very active. You're very well rounded. Something for everybody. If you think that's older people,
So we're very different from the senior
Yeah.
centers, and that's why we changed our name. Partially is that because we take that, it's really a recreation center that when people get here, as they age here, they start to utilize the services we offer. They might start with just the hairdresser or seeing the nurse that comes, but then they're starting to see the healthcare, health insurance counselor or a benefits counselor. And then they start to get, as they age here, because I can tell you, I'm gonna be going into my 30th year, and I have people that started, 55 here that are still coming. And they utilize different things now than they did when they first.
some people start with the fitness center.
Right.
I think we have a lawyer who's here. Going out. It's half a day, and we'll see people, and she just, 8 people.
Yeah.
And answers questions. And sometimes she goes above and beyond, she's.
By the way, the tech center is also the site of weekly legal.
Yes, we will.
Oh, yes, right.
Which if you're even at this end of the building, you hear them down the hall.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Laughing and having a
Yeah.
good time.
Other questions in the room here? Online, Commission?
Jimmy, you have any questions?
No, I have no questions. I'm just listening. Thank you.
Better know about this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all that you guys do.
Thank you, yeah.
So remember the Super Bowl.
Bring your appetite on.
And the
Don't forget. Bye, have a good night.
Jump to
Yeah.
golf questions?
Yeah.
Is that what we want to do anyway?
So Jim, I saw your questions and I've shared those with Eric and Todd, who are online virtually, so we can go through and answer your questions. I don't know if you want to kind of give us a summary of what your thoughts were, and then Eric and Todd are online.
Yeah, did Eric get my questions?
Yeah, I think both Eric and
Okay.
Todd got your.
Well, first there were it's not my meeting. I don't know what the agenda is.
Well,
But we did have a lot of follow-up questions last meeting when you weren't here, Mark. And I have a list of those. If you want, the ones that relate to Shinnecock, I can list them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, one was the bathrooms on the course. Did that end up being approved by RTM? Is that going forward?
It is, because the golf course is in the city, and the proposal to put a new building in the city requires permitting through the city. So we are going through that process now.
Okay, so that's still going ahead. Okay, yeah.
It is, yeah, and we will probably bid that sometime this summer, and construction would be next fall.
Okay, great. Now, is that kind of by gender? Is that going to be men's and ladies' room? Shared? I'm sure not shared. Is there a room for ladies and a room for men? Because I know ladies don't like to share restrooms on golf courses with men. They just don't.
Actually, Eric, do you remember, is it two?
There are
I can't
two
remember.
bathrooms, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, so one is probably male and.
Well, that would make sense. Let's make sure of that, Mark, because the course that I play in Florida, the ladies will not use that restroom if the men are in it.
Here's your room where you walk in, you lock the door.
Right.
That, or they like,
Yeah,
walk in
Yeah.
and we know what the design is.
and even if it's
Sorry.
locked, if they know that men are in there, they that have been in there, they won't use it.
I mean, I guess what's the design?
Well, as a woman, I would say, if I go into a single room that's a bathroom, I can lock the door. Like we have right here at the center,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, male or female.
I guess that's kind of my head, right? It's like, you're safe no matter what, there's no one coming. I mean, might be a little grosser, some guys would, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
Is one of them. As well as the.
Well, this is my 2 cents, but whatever direction we're going, we don't do too much for the ladies. They ought to get their own dedicated suite in the bathroom. That's for sure. The next one was the follow-up that Dominic had, which was the fence fix on 13 and 18. Remember he brought that up? There was a bent fence on the main road there that bordered the 18th tee. It was in ill repair, I think. And there were some people complaining about how come Shinnecock can't fix the fence. It was bent.
Oh, right, so we had budgeted money for that, and the quotes that we got were higher than what we had budgeted. So we did make improvements there was 2 parts to that project. One was the fence, and then one was the fence along the underpass. And the fence on the underpass has been fixed, but we don't have enough money to do the other. We're actually considering not even pulling the fence and not replacing it, because it really doesn't serve a particular purpose.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I never understood why it was there. There's no golf balls being hit that way. So,
Right.
yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know who Dominic talked to, but there were some people concerned about it. And I think they were homeowners that were across the road. Next item was the bridge between holes 8 and 9 that was in disrepair with the kind of makeshift piece of plywood that was kind of busted up. Is that a permanent situation, Eric, or is that a temporary? Or are we gonna fix that?
We're gonna build a new bridge this off season.
Okay. Okay. Now, is that in the
Is it gonna-
budget?
No, it's just they're gonna be the cost of lumber. We're gonna have the park staff help build it for us because they have a whole workshop in their building.
Okay. Okay.
Mark, I think that's
Um,
one that's the-
yeah.
that would- That same, literally same design. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Us guys do.
yeah, that's probably correct. I can't imagine. more.
Yeah, I just. A little bit more than that, well, they actually go to. One that I don't know which.
In the report.
Oh, okay, yeah, they go to.
The
Yeah,
next item
so-
that I had was, I think there were questions in the last meeting about the status of the bathroom upgrades in the clubhouse. I know last time we talked, I think it might have been November meeting. There was issues with asbestos that pushed the schedule back, and you probably know, Mark, what it is, the status now.
So the area underneath where the work is gonna be done for the bathroom that area has been abated for asbestos. And there's a pre-construction meeting, I think within the next 2 weeks. So that project is gonna be kicking off, depending on the contractor's schedule. That project's gonna be kicking off, I would say, within the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
And we're trying to target, the slower season for golf.
Yeah. Makes sense. Right. And that's all I had on the list of questions from the last meeting. Yeah.
We're looking
Jim?
for more data.
Yeah, I think you were looking for information about membership.
Yeah, there were some issues, I guess that questions that I brought up and some of the other members had some questions too. Since Eric is here, maybe you can answer those for us. The first question, which I wrote in the email, Mark, was the issue with stopping the temporarily the seasonal memberships because members were not able to get or players were not able to get tee times. I guess the question I had first was, how severe was the problem? I mean, how often does it happen that we were going to make a decision like this?
Yeah, so Todd Goodhue, the golf pro, is, I think, still with us. And
Okay.
might be the best because he's working in the pro shop and answering phones. The members, so it probably would make sense for Todd to kind of kick off this discussion.
Yes, hi, Jim. This is Todd. Nice to meet
Todd.
you over the phone.
Yeah.
So Mark, did Jim have the chance to see the email that I drafted to you?
Oh, no, I didn't forward that to him, so.
Oh, okay, all right. So basically, Jim, last year when we had just over 400 members, we were not getting any complaints regarding the ability of members to book tee times on Saturday and Sunday morning. Now, the folks that are members that book Saturday and Sunday morning are the ones that have the full membership. And most of those folks are working people. And so when we had just 400, well, I think last year we had 404, excuse me. We didn't get any complaints. Now we have 454, and I'm getting three groups will complain on a Saturday and then on a Sunday that they were not able to book a tea time. Now, being that we had moved from a 7 tea time per hour to a 6 tea time per hour, a 10-minute interval, which is a 6 tea times per hour, I have some flexibility, and so I would always take care of them. But there is a certain level of frustration that we did not experience with a membership number of around 400.
Right.
So, yes.
Oh, okay,
that-
so I think that incremental 10% was what was causing the problem, maybe.
Only a
No,
problem on Saturdays.
The only members
Yeah, I
booking
think-
the team. Are they showing up? That was
Yeah,
another
so-
question.
Yeah, so first question, only a problem on Saturday and Sunday, is that where the complaints have been?
I'm sorry, was that a question to me? Say that again?
Can you hear me, or is it, I should move up?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and repeat yourselves.
Is this better? Can you hear me better? Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah, are
Is
you,
it-
go ahead.
Is the problem only Saturdays and Sundays? Is that like where you're getting the complaints?
I'm sorry, go ahead and say again. I'm sorry.
Only Saturdays.
I can hear Jim clearly, but I can't hear you very clearly.
The question was, are you only getting complaints on Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, that's okay. Yes. So during the week, there is not this issue. Monday through Friday is not a problem. The Monday through Friday folks, they're limited members. They're senior players. They don't pay comparatively a lot of money, and so and there's not an issue. They're able to get the teen times that they want. On the weekend, those folks, they can only play, most of them, they can only play on Saturday and Sunday morning. And so that's the crunch. That's the issue.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think the follow-up question I have then is, are the people that are complaining, have they done it? They might be rightfully so. Have they done it a couple times, and do they usually play week over week on those weekends? Is it a common group, or do they usually play, whether it's the same time or different times? They usually play on a weekend or every couple weekends. Is it the same type of crowd?
Typically the folks that play, I work on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And the folks that play, the members that play on Saturday and Sunday morning are the same members that play every single weekend, week to week, month to month during season. And
Right.
And so, yes, so they are avid golfers. They paid the high dollar. They paid the most, the highest membership number that we have, and they play typically every Saturday and Sunday.
Right, right. And so they're getting squeezed out by who? The individuals that are greens fees players?
No, more than 90% of the play on Saturday and Sunday morning are membership play because the members have 2 hour advance booking over the public. Members can call starting at 7 days a week, starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
The outsider, the non-member rather, can go online at 6 o'clock to book. So the problem really is the member group that fell asleep. They they forgot. They, for whatever reason, it slipped their mind because they have advanced booking, and so yeah. So when they call me and they say, "Geez, I didn't call. I didn't get a time. Is there a time?" Now, I'd like the commission to know that with a 10-minute interval, I have flexibility because the golf course really does move at a 7 tee time per hour pace.
Yeah.
So I do have flexibility. So if a member group is aced out, I say, when do you want to play?
Right.
And so I make note of it. They say, well, I'd like to play around 9:30. And I say, tell the group to come out. I will work you in. So I always do that. So they're, so I mean, so on the one hand, I'm saying that there is a problem and there is enough that we recommended that we put a hold. But having said that, I do whatever I can to get the member group out.
Yeah, I understand, Todd. This is Jim. You know, this all came up because an initial question I had, I've really have we gone to our limits before we just decide that we're not going to take any more revenue in, right? In other words, one example may be when those members, even though they might be sort of booking on the late side, this is actually a good example. The T sheet isn't always accurate because there's no penalty for making a reservation and canceling it, right? That happens quite a bit at Shinnecock. Right.
Well, yes, but I mean, but this golf course, Jim, is a very high volume golf course, and when somebody cancels a tee time, people jump right on it.
Right.
They do.
Right.
So
now, it's the ones
and
where
I
they
can
don't
tell
cancel.
you.
Yeah. Well, let me just interrupt you there. It's the ones that don't cancel that concern me, where they just booked it in the middle of the week.
Right.
For
So
Saturday, and then they just don't
right.
show
So
up.
no, right. So I was gonna tell you. So the no shows during season, which is like June through the end of September.
Yeah.
The no shows are very seldom.
Okay.
Maybe one.
Yeah.
Maybe two in the morning. But on the other hand, I have 5 single people that came up and said, "Yes, I'm a single. Can you get me out?" "Sure. What's your name?" And I put them down. "Just go ahead and be where I can see you." And so when I have a no show, I call the first 4 singles and I put them right on the tee.
Right. So based on that, you really don't think the accuracy of the tee sheet really affects how many rounds there are or who ultimately gets on because you fill it, right? Especially on the weekends.
Okay, in other words, so one group that booked drops out, but I have one group in essence, with singles that I plug right in.
Right,
So
right.
it's a one loss, one gained.
Yeah,
So no, so I would say that it's accurate. We don't have, you can't even believe it. This golf course is so busy. We are busy from first time to last time,
yeah,
all the way through season.
yeah, yeah. So I understand your issue on the weekends. The other concern was, it doesn't sound like that's the issue, is there a lot of members? In my experience is yes. Are there a lot of members that play a lot of rounds and they're pushing out people that have less flexibility in their times? In other words, say for example, there's just a lot of retirees that play at Shenecasset a lot, right? They play hundreds of rounds sometimes a year.
Yes,
And
but
is it,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
they're
Go ahead.
probably, are there any of those on the weekends that are pushing out the
No,
ones that are kind of
no,
working, and then they come
no,
on the,
because no, Jim, because they're limited members.
yeah,
So they can't play before 12 o'clock.
yeah, yeah.
They,
But they
they,
could,
so
yeah,
they,
they can play
their
after
membership,
12, right? Yeah,
yes, but that's the after 12 is totally not an issue.
not an issue.
And,
Okay.
and honestly,
Yeah,
the senior guys and the limited, adults, the younger guys that play during the week and don't play on the weekends and don't want to play on the weekends, they don't, those folks, they don't want to play on the weekends.
yeah,
The weekends are busy. After 12 o'clock, after 11:30 ish, the majority of play, are outside guests, people that are coming from elsewhere. And, and they don't want to get in the mix of that.
yeah.
So
I
they're
understand.
happy to play Monday through Friday.
Yeah, yeah. So if we were going to get it down to the smaller group, the issue you really have would be the full tee sheets on the weekends in the morning. That's the issue,
That's
right?
exactly right. The
Right.
issue
Right.
is,
So if you were going to
before
limit
12.
membership, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No. I was just gonna, I was just going to, affirm what you said.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Saturday and Sunday before 12 o'clock in the morning,
Right. Okay.
12 o'clock it's the mornings.
Right. Okay. Got it. And
We
then,
need to vote.
yeah, go ahead.
We need to vote on this, like, I personally feel we have enough facts to, yeah. I don't wanna spend 20 more minutes talking about it, I'm sure we have a lot of it, items, yet being on the agenda, so, I mean, I'm not the only commissioner, so I will let others speak, but to me, if we need to vote, I would personally feel comfortable with enough facts to be able to vote, if that's what asked for. So let me first, what do we need to do?
There's one more question I do have, though. When you were talking about limiting the memberships, then you really, the only thing that would be helpful would be limiting the full memberships, right? Because they're the only.
Well, no,
that
you
play in the morning.
you are correct. But I don't have a good comfort level with just singling out that category. If we're going to limit new members, I think we have to go across the board.
Well, a lot of the members just play during the week, don't they? Because that's all they,
Yes.
a lot of them are limited memberships. So why don't we just limit
Yes.
full memberships?
Well, I mean, so yeah, so if the town feels comfortable with singling out the full member, the adult member, as opposed to the other categories of member, then if they feel comfortable with that, then that would be the perfect thing.
Well, that's
Because we don't have an issue during the week.
yeah. So that would be the only thing that could fix it, which is limiting full memberships. Why should why should we limit somebody who wants to play on the weekend? Okay, because, or during the weekday, because there's a weekend
Right.
problem. Let's not limit the weekday memberships. There's a lot of those, and we want to keep taking that money in, don't we?
Well, yes, I mean, yes.
Okay. So we're
I
gonna,
mean, that's an accurate statement. Well, but also let me make the observation while we're talking about this, is this golf course, if we didn't have a member group play, we would have an outside member group playing a lot more, paying a lot more.
I realize that. Yes, the members get a subsidized rate, that's for sure. Okay, but
They,
Yeah.
yes,
their cost is way less than the members, half. In fact, I saw your sheet, it was $37 a round, and that's all on average, while the full greens fees, I think, is 55 or something like that. So I don't know, I'm not the guy in the position to make the decision, but it seems to me if we have a weekend issue in the morning, we should limit the memberships that are eligible to play on the weekends, not the other memberships. Now, if you think we're not bringing in enough money because we have too many members, Todd, that's a different issue. Okay. So I don't, we don't want to mix that issue. Do we have a weekend AM issue where we can limit the weekend memberships? Or do we have a revenue issue in total and you would like to reduce the number of members? Which I understand that.
no,
Members play a
no,
lot.
there's not a member, there's not a revenue issue. I've been asked the question at times over the last couple of years, as the membership number has increased, how many members is too many? And my answer, which is a correct answer, is when there is an increase in membership and there is a corresponding decrease in greens fee revenue. And that would signal the tipping point. That would signal the tipping point. But Jim, our memberships are going up and our greens fees are going up. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's a growing sport in Groton, that's for sure. So I agree, maybe we need to make a call. But I don't want to be taking a position where you're not comfortable, Todd and Eric. I would recommend we vote to limit the full memberships, not all memberships. But I'll leave that up to the commission to decide if they want to vote on just those limited memberships to be stopped, or all of them to be stopped temporarily. It sounds like, from my point of view, Todd's saying we got an issue on the weekend in the AM, and we don't have a mix issue between members and non-members at this point. We might in the future, but we don't right now. He wants to fix the weekend morning issue.
Jim,
Yes.
That's an accurate statement, yes.
I think what we're gonna do is suspend this discussion for now. In February, we have a joint meeting with the GAB, and what comes out of that is a recommendation for changes in rules and regulations, and also recommendations for rates. And so I think it would be appropriate to circle back and have this discussion at that GAB meeting, just so that we can kind of hear from the members and get their perspective before we make any kind of recommendation to the council or any kind of decision moving forward.
And what is this group? GAP, you said? GAP?
Yeah, the Golf Advisory Board.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way the process works is the Golf Advisory Board will have a meeting prior to the next commission meeting. They will make recommendations for rates changes to golf course rules and regulations. And we have a joint meeting a couple of days after they make that recommendation. With both the Golf Advisory Board and Parks and Rec Commission. And then the Parks and Rec Commission will make a recommendation to the council. Todd, Eric, and I will go to the council with the recommendations from the commission. And they will either adopt or make changes to.
Okay, well, whatever you think is right, Mark. I know there was already a meeting on this and they recommended what Todd, I guess, had communicated to you through whatever it was, and you communicated to us that they wanted to eliminate all the new memberships temporarily. I don't think they got down to the issue we got down to today. Or I don't think they would have made that recommendation. So I'm not really comfortable that they're really getting to the issue like we did today. I don't know what that group does. How come they didn't get down to this level? Are they going to go and do the same thing?
The golf, you guys are on, you heard the discussion. If you have a different recommendation, come back next time. You heard a lot of discussion, feel free to make your recommendation based on all the discussion today. Options, whatever.
Who are you talking to?
I think I assume the other folks on, Eric, I assume you guys are on the GAB, right?
Yes.
So I mean, like, you heard the discussion, so you can make, something you're gonna meet, or we meet next time, you're gonna make a recommendation. You heard all the discussion, take that into account when you make the recommendation to us. And then, we'll see what you come up with, right? I think you have enough facts now to recommend what you think is best, and then we'll tell you whether we agree or disagree.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks, Todd.
Okay, guys.
All right, thanks. Have a good night.
Yep.
Bye.
Good night now.
I think we'll move on to approval of meeting minutes. Looks like we got 2 months worth. Start with November. Last, I guess, let's go around. Does anyone have any questions or problems before we say to accept them?
I'll second.
Oh, everyone good with that?
Favor? Jim, are you okay?
No
with the-
issues, yeah. No additional issues.
We'll do the same thing for December. Any questions or comments on December?
Oh, I have a question. I think it was in. Yeah. There was a question about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Michael, right? You-
Yes.
it had been Thursday. I mean, it was Wednesdays forever. Yeah, and then it switched to Thursdays. And so when I put the schedule together.
Yep.
And included it in the packet, I assumed that we were sticking with Thursdays. My personal,
Go.
my personal preference doesn't really matter.
Well,
I do have an opinion.
Give it.
I would rather do it on Wednesday evening, but I know that creates conflicts for you.
Well,
The reason being.
Conflicts for you too, is the RTM on Wednesday, yeah.
That's not a problem. Well, once in a great while, it's a problem for me, but not that
Okay.
much. I would rather, and this is just selfish. If I'm taking Friday off, if I want a long weekend, I've got a commission meeting on Thursday night. Head wherever I'm headed, but that's selfish and personal, so. Works best for me.
If the meetings remain where they're accurate and I can see from
Yeah.
where I am.
Yeah.
I know you guys did.
Yeah.
Probably, but when
Okay.
Mike has the RTM.
Right,
But as
right.
long as
which-
it's remote, I can like be somewhere.
Oh,
Remote,
gotcha.
I just might not be minutes. That was one of the
Okay.
issues we were running into,
Oh.
because when he has the meeting activities, that he's got to pay,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, and
Okay.
so if I can do it from there remotely, problem, but
But-
if we're not always hybrid. Right,
yeah,
Mike,
so I think every meeting is.
I have the schedule, so I was one thing I was gonna say, like, I didn't know if we were gonna do it. So I looked through a schedule for me for the event that I do. I had 3 or 4 days that I would prefer to do a Wednesday than every meeting. So I guess I'll leave it up to everyone, right? Like, you know, like, I mean, like, you know, whatever you wanna do, you're gonna do different days, you wanna do Wednesday. I have some events that are pre-scheduled through the year that occur basically from 5 to 8 or 9 at night that are non-changeable. That I don't have to say, but I would like to, or I did. So like, it's up to the group. I would say. So like, you know, if Mark, if you think Wednesdays works better, and I have a couple things that don't
I'm
work,
not
maybe
on the
change a couple.
commission, I just,
But I mean, I'm open to take everyone's input, and we should all be able to be something that works. So like, and if we did maybe if 1 or 2 days change for me, and then we left the rest for everyone else, like, I'm open for whatever. That's like, discussion is to be had. So we can have that here if we want, and say, we agree with the meeting times and everything. Like, Mark provided that, provided out a list of everyone has it.
Can we be flexible and? Or not? Is that something?
Or can we do it
or
ahead?
is that-
I think it's better if we set it up and, yeah, rather than. Cause then I'm chasing around, Tom, you didn't get back to me, what night works for you? Or whoever.
But I think the other thing too is supposedly the commissioner meetings are open
To the public,
to the
right?
public.
And
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's
So if
jumping
we switch
around,
around,
yeah, then,
Yeah.
I think we should set a schedule now, whether we do 1 month, 1 day, 1 that doesn't, I think we should set one now so people know like in the calendar when it is.
and publish it. yeah.
Publish it, but I mean, you could do, you know, like rotating date, I don't care, but just, we should set it up.
It always like, for the same. It always falls.
right. Yeah, right,
But we also have a much larger group than.
Right,
issue. So
right.
if there is something going on, can't make it. People.
right.
Yeah.
So let's just think for a second, so Wednesday works better for you, right?
And it's not that I take any Fridays
It's not
off,
for sure.
but I'm just
But
saying.
when you do,
If I
yeah.
did,
So
I'm like, oh.
do you have a problem, like, is there anything preference for you, anything that? you don't
the
like?
first and third Wednesday of the month.
Or don't?
In the evening, my
Yeah.
meeting starts at
And
6.
we're always on third.
Well, do we have to be there?
Is it second week?
Yeah, okay, so it's like first and third, no good,
You're
but
fine.
Jim, do you have any problems on Wednesdays? Is there any Wednesdays in the week or Wednesday good or bad?
I don't have any issue. I have all the flexibility.
The RTMs is on a certain number of weeks, like did every other. has-
It's every second.
Always.
like,
Oh,
So it's always the day.
what I guess I'm trying to say is like, it seems to me, and I'm just throwing some out there, is the 4th Wednesday of the month good for everyone, right? Is that
Seems
a
like it should be.
preference then, and like, because then everyone can make it, maybe that's the best, I mean, I don't want to speak for Tom, but, you know, I mean, is that an option, and does that make
Yeah,
sense for
but we
everyone?
can certainly switch. Hell,
I mean, if you said it up
That's not
front,
my
right,
problem.
like, it's just, yeah. Then everyone can help.
Yeah, both Wednesdays work.
You know, if we could just have the meetings in the evening, that would be easier for me because I do have commitments on Wednesday during the day. So, you know, it could be like a 4:30 for me on a Wednesday might not work occasionally. So if we could
Yeah.
keep it at 7, that would work.
Yeah, we set up 2 dates. We proposed 2 dates for this calendar year. At 4 o'clock to give the opportunity, the commission members to meet the staff. So we have one other date in April where we're going to, it's gonna meet at 4 o'clock, Spicer House, so that commission can meet the recreation staff. Otherwise, it's 7 o'clock.
Okay, that's fine with me then. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yep.
That's what I would propose then. I don't know, if we say, if you want to leave the next meeting February as it is. That would be my proposal. I don't think-
Yeah, you probably should, just because I have to. That's. So. So remove this.
Oh, you're gonna move it into everywhere.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying that's what the. Yeah, the fourth Wednesday of the month was.
I guess first let's do the December things and then we'll do the vote for the 100.
But we don't have Dom here.
You wanna wait till next time?
I think we should.
So why don't you do this, Mark? Why don't you, this would be, I think the answer would be, why don't you put it, why don't we leave the next meeting as is? Why don't you put out a.
Well, yeah, we can't really change it. Can't change it.
So we'll leave it as is. So my things don't start till before. I don't do that. But why don't you put out a new proposed schedule next time, just starting in March through December.
Okay,
The fourth one, we'll vote on it then, and just put that as an agenda.
all right.
That's not good, for
Yeah.
everyone? And you can do the one early, like, I understand that it makes sense to be one early.
Yeah, but we can move that to.
Yeah, move that to first Wednesday, make it early.
Yeah, if that's the.
Yeah, that's a decision. So if then we'll have the facts, everyone can say yea or nay when they have the schedule. Calendars,
If anybody discovers it,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
send an email about it.
yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. That works
Yeah.
good.
Oh, was, well, I don't, it was in the minutes, and I guess.
I probably put it under unfinished business, though, before I minutes. So I guess I'll ask, is there other questions in the minutes? No, it's, we should, I mean, it's, yeah, talk about it.
We needed this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we wanna make a motion to accept those minutes then?
And move that we accept the minutes.
I'll send it.
Are you all right with the December?
Yes,
meeting minutes?
yes. Yep, fine.
If there are comments, I'll say I did not have any, I'll go around.
I did not either.
Marker.
Flooding.
Yeah.
Pretty okay.
Yeah.
We were seeing it.
Oh, we read that Grove Street was flooded. I know gravel does, but Grove,
I can forget or not. We'll just blow it up. I worry because like we have electrical. Lots of people. In summer I'm gonna blast it. But I think we're gonna.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
this
coming
is-
this weekend.
it sounds
I mean,
like-
it's not in our house. Our thing just doesn't. Work like they, honestly. Do all the 8 feet. And that's. Town council referrals. In case us was.
you had sent that email about the playground surface.
Yeah, so just
Oh,
the
yeah.
question I had, Mark, was on that was, I visited some parents on town and it. We had talked about, new playgrounds are gonna go in, so, hey, order in place, there's some advantages. I've seen as I've gone around the playgrounds on the town, right now, we just have order in place or the. Or the, I don't think it's any dirt, but like,
Hopefully.
or which.
Such part is.
Yeah. But I guess what I'm saying is, so it intrigued me a little when one of the playgrounds I went to with my kids looked like a little tire. Those rubber mulch, right?
Right.
So from my wife sent me something saying, good, I saw some things, so maybe they could be answers, but you get one article, you don't know how factual it is, right? So I mean, but I guess what I'm understanding is could be more research probably needed, but
And that's what I was thinking.
but-
because
but
I've
you know
heard
what-
lots about the negative.
I've heard negative, it would be interesting to see as a town, we're gonna put in new playground. What, we're gonna hire firms that are gonna tell us stuff that we don't know, right? We don't know.
Yeah.
It would be good for them to present, the cost and the health benefits between port in place, wood chips, because
And environment.
sure, there's things the ones playgrounds in ours, right, they flood they flood like crazy. They're still flooding, that's a rare rate, so I'm not gonna say that's should be this high, but it would be good to know as we go forward in a new playground, I would almost think we'd wanna have a baseline stance. Hey, after when we hired the contractor to do the new playground, maybe that's a Sutton Park one, that's the big one now. Like, what's the benefit, pros and cons, because I would think as a town, we wanna go make them all uniform over the next 30 years as we redo them, and we would know, maybe 30 years we get some new material.
You're right.
But like, what should we use, what makes the most sense, and just because wood chips maybe they're the best, maybe they cost more, maybe the port in place cost more, but it looks more cosmetic, but it's a lot more to maintain, to replace it every couple years. I would be good to know the facts, so that we can make an informed decision, like a spreadsheet, so like, and even you could say, hey, and then people might vote, hey, I'm not saying, what, like, I would like to know.
Right. Yeah, I think I replied all your email, and there's different challenges with different wood chips. They break down, we're constantly replacing them. Then we're in place, accessibility greater. Wood chips are considered accessible, but not to the same level as board in place. Yeah. And they're the least expensive, but they probably require the most. The fabricated plastic, rubber wood chips are more expensive. Imagine over, well, all materials. Wood chips break down quicker. The other rubber chips, however, don't break down so quickly, but there's a lot more. There's a lot more health than those. Whether, to your point, whether they're, whether it's one person that wrote this article gravitates towards that one. Port in place are, yes, it's cracking now, but we get hundreds of users during the summer. It has backup put in 2000.
So it's been a good time.
So it's been a good time, and the staff has the capability of patch places. It's a number of patches. And the staff has. But to your point, pulling all of that information in one document and having that as, okay, this is why we're doing it. Yeah, as we've seen that time. These are the expensive.
They make port in place blocks, 2 tiles, maybe that. I just
Yeah,
all
there,
the options
there
would be on
are
the table,
there
right?
are
Like,
lots. Of, yeah, they're always trying to.
just that was the ask.
Yeah.
So. Sure.
Because like some people like may not care about it. I do care about my kitty rubber tires, so if a lot of people. But if a lot of people do, then
Right.
they would be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The other side of that is how much of those iron chips contain actual latex. Because latex allergies, of course, are
Yeah,
very
that might be,
serious.
right, like you said, like I think wood chips think go to get the guy chip. I guess it's specific wood chip, right, so maybe that's part of
yeah,
it.
it's
Great.
Yeah,
I think it's all part of it, great. I don't know.
yeah, it's not shipping a tree and throwing it down.
Yeah.
They're actually it's called engineered carton. And chips are pretty much uniform size, so that hopefully actions. If you have chips that are all different sizes, the smaller ones fill in the voids,
Yeah.
and pretty soon you've got this. It's like playing a playground with dirt. It's just solid wood chips, so.
I think we just got that, we got. Like that. Rush. Yeah.
That's- So in addition to material that I sent you, I did want to give you an update. We have hired a manager of Parks and Open Space. Her name is Tabitha Wilson. began, yes, she began her career in Parks and Recreation of California as crew leader, as being landscape and then director. Groton years ago. Yeah. We were really fortunate.
You know, if he came from
Pasadena,
Texas,
California. That was
Oh, so,
yeah. So she starts on the 22nd. I did want to update everybody that all the lights, all at the Pines Park, both in the parking lot and along the walkway. And thanks myself, that I had any complaints that either the lights aren't bright enough or the lights are too bright. Entrance. So I think it's,
so talk to him about the process, but.
Yeah.
The wider path.
Yep.
Like, so obviously, yeah. When do you expect that?
every other day. As long as the frost doesn't set, we have an estimate.
And just like feedback is going. I would ask you to try to get it done for the summer, if that means that even the project will put on hold for a week, like that's what I always ask the town.
Yeah.
Dragging it out for 2 years, right, to me is not a good stand. Right, like you have a nice lights, like understand you're not gonna pave them nice, like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
should,
Well, we're
we should
not-
make it a priority, so we're not doing it in the fall. They should be done by the summertime, that's what I'm getting at.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, and it's not getting paid. It's gonna remain stone dust, which is right now.
Sure, but
And the reason that we're widening is because we have a piece of equipment that is too wide for the path right now, and so it would end up chewing up the grass. So we're widening it so that we have this machine that we can pull and keep the path. Last storm that we got, river went down, washing out. People want to walk, that's flat.
Or cutting the corner. 'Cause that was
Yeah,
before
and
the
actually,
floods,
yeah,
it
and
comes off
actually.
the grass.
Putting over so that the water will drain. There'll still be a pond down in that corner, but that'll be a raised. What
like,
path
almost
will
like
be
a
raised.
berm.
And
Yeah.
drainage material.
Yeah.
Go to.
Yes, exactly. But I don't have. So that was really the only updates that I had on top.
I have 3 questions. Talk about app development in here a little bit, so kind of start my thing. Two questions. One, has the town done app development else?
No, and we're not developing. This started with Microsoft. The Level project. Open space. And so the folks that were involved partnering with Microsoft to develop this are continuing this work. And that they're the ones that are developing this app. And the app is. There, folks. What's that? Help. Actually. Yeah. All of you. Used it. Depending on. Right. Spring. Set up.
So it's not an item specific to Groton, it's just we're one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a town app. Like,
No,
I was trying to
no,
understand
no,
how
no.
someone that was visually impaired was gonna utilize, I just, I didn't know. Okay, got it.
No,
I was gonna.
That is really great.
The developer is, well, one of them's in New York, upstate New York, not sure. Gentleman is rewriting the code.
I have lots of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do use apps. We're developing a work for manufacturing. People in Sweden.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ledyard Estates, is that the community I live in?
It is, that's
I never
what
was
they
wrong.
rebranded it as.
What?
Ledyard Estates.
We live in Ledyard State.
Well, I don't know, it depends on where your house is in the development.
Are you serious?
Oh,
So the whole development isn't just one thing?
oh, no.
I thought it was a development, we're all one chunk of
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah, so they rebranded those last few houses.
Who are we talking about?
Deerfield?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I know what
So
you're
the
talking
new
about.
one that they just built?
Yeah,
on the
that
front
is,
Ledyard,
that is considered Ledyard Estates.
but down low on
Do we even have any?
here, we just always called it beer.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah, that was not my doing.
no, that's fine, I was just asking, like,
Yeah,
Is
so,
that like an official thing, or are they just doing that?
I think it's identified down as Ledyard Estates.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think that whole, the development was done kind of in sections. The last section, they decided to call Ledyard. Estates. So yes,
Okay.
that answer your question.
I appreciate your kind of diligence with. That. That's the person, glad you're doing my diligence. Make sure that we're getting the right thing, right?
The contractor they have.
The whole space, the guy bought a thing, didn't know what the hell he was doing, slacked it out, the. it's both 2 years, can't do it, up there for the person who sell the property. They just dug it up. I mean, the guy, they dug stuff, they didn't even tow it down, they ripped sidewalks up, they didn't get approval from the town. I had a big talk with the parks.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the guy is, the guy's a prop, yeah, years. They didn't get a permit for that box in
Sidewalk.
the town. Okay. Level, but I'm talking about even before this meeting, there was like that circle thing, they didn't get it.
And, it was bloody.
Yeah, I remember everything like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's the whole thing was.
And then it was covered in
So-
sand with all the silt. They
Oh,
cleared the trees.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, that part of that
Yeah.
little micro playground,
Yeah,
I said.
Yeah. I was trying to understand.
Commercial grade is gonna
Yeah.
be installed by.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the plans you sent us a while ago,
Yeah,
like,
but
equipment, but it didn't show like, didn't show a picture, you said I'm gonna put this type of equipment in, it's like, but I looked at the
Yeah.
space and I'm like, I don't understand how that fits into
And
like the
that's-
space. That's what I was trying to see, like, I'm like, I see the space in front of me, I see your plans, I like the plans, but I don't see they translate to the space,
Oh,
and I was like, I was so
yeah.
confused, like.
Because there's safety zones. around it. Apparently it's safe. Yeah, they're gonna be able to put one piece of equipment right in the center.
Cause I was like, it
And
goes
that's
down, it's like you're building it up, or you're building a wall. I was so
Well, yeah,
confused, like,
because it's a real small flat section, then it pitches up to the guys. Whether it was store.
I was just so confused.
A
That's what I
little
was trying
tiny
to figure out.
flat space, and then there's also supposed to be an access that goes down behind that house, because there's a drainage area down there. Public Works is gonna have down there in order to drainage area. So, you know, he's put in all of these wooden, I don't know how close you live to it, but put in a bunch of piers that are.
I saw something, yeah, I was so confused what that was.
Yeah, so they just put that in.
I don't even know what that
And
was.
the whole thing is supposed to.
I thought some wood chips, I thought the guy in the.
Well, yeah,
next to
so
it,
he
like
started-
Like a party.
Yeah, the contractor started doing wood chips. Wood chips. You know, they were like, this, just gonna cover the gravel. And it's like.
I thought the guy, like, I thought the guy.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
the town
why,
has a-
that's
town
why
has
I,
a $2 million bond. They don't, I talked to them, they don't do it, don't get them due in 6 months. Yeah, we're gonna take that bond, keep it, we're gonna go contract it ourselves, in that case, Mark would go coordinate the project, take a chunk of that bond. I'm saying, that's what just happened, I hope that doesn't happen, because the guy, get done.
it's.
It's,
Oh, it's. But it's being recorded, so.
um. I liked how the bid you talked about getting some decoration. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So that was good. The only question I had is like, those like, on a car, you can put like the shrink wrap around it, you can wrap a
Yeah.
car, are they wraps you change them over time, or are they permanently on?
No, it would be.
I guess where my head,
Unless they deteriorate. But not sure how long.
I guess what I was getting to is like, do we pay a fee for that, or we just went to the line of thing?
Oh, no, they gave us the document.
I don't know, okay. good.
Yeah.
I was just curious, I
And then
mean,
we-
we're paying a fee, I was gonna say, maybe you go to the town people and see it. But what it sparked me to think about it, like, we put in a new park, put in some, town in London does a good job of murals. And my thought was like, you know, you do something like that, maybe these bids aren't the right thing, but like, if we do a new park design or community center, like, I'm not an artist, but like, I'm sure there are people in the community that would love to do it if you just said, hey, the town will give you a couple $100 for materials, have at it, give us a plan, give us a design, go make. I guarantee you a lot of people would enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
I would not be one of them, but I think people would, right? Someone say, oh, I did that, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
All the artists.
Yeah. So that's what's gonna occur. Perfect, that's good. I thought that was a good idea. So I'm good.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it's open, there's no. Oh, sure, oh, that'd be cool.
Did
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure it's probably some talented people.
that. So I don't know if it's like on their radar, but.
right, but it's just have to make sure that we, yeah.
It's cool.
Any other questions, directors? Talked about golf, but you had a couple things, budget stuff. Yes, is there anything you wanna say?
Just, so I submitted the. Monthly report. They used to. See last year. 9,000. You know, I also included expenses year to date year to date. That. Like,
The only question I have, Mark, real quick on it, is, on the budget sheet, I just wanna make sure, it was like a revised budget and a year-to-date expenditure. Some of the things I take as revised budget, that's what, like, I take the line of the car. Yep. Showed that I had 268K, but then I only spent 103, so I take that as we allocated that much money.
yes.
We didn't spend it, so we did really good. We did not spend in the big ticket items what we thought we would, so we have a surplus to use in some of the CIP type projects. That.
No, so we will continue, so cart rental, all of these. This first page, this is all revenue.
Yeah.
So this is just year to date,
That's just,
so we will continue to. bring cart rentals. Yes, pretty close to this 68. So
you say
so far,
that's expenditure, that's a cost of the card, so that's what we.
now that's what we make. For some reason, Munis puts a negative in front of all the revenue. So it's confusing. So it looks like expenses, it's actually revenue.
So we've only made 163K.
Yes. Year to date.
This is fiscal year.
This is, and,
We've not yet.
oh, no, not yet, but.
But it's
it'll
fiscal
be-
year, so.
And when I print a revenue report, the town does not record revenue. So it's about a month long. So what they do is when it gets sent to the bank statement comes to the town, that's when it shows up. So we're always about a month behind on revenue. Expenses.
At the end of the year. Like the month after that.
Right, yeah, July. I'm sorry, August.
Ends June
It ends
30th,
June, right.
so
Yeah,
it's used for
generally
13.
closing out the books. But
working on it.
Jim, do you have any questions on that golf stuff?
Nope.
Move on then. Trails and coordinated task force, Mark?
Yep, so, I just updated everybody on the fact that we have hired a streets and trails. That was H1 Studios. Number, FHI Studios. HI Studio System. And that kickoff meeting. I also, we also set the dates for the Trails Coordinated Task Force quarterly. Updated them on that. We apply recreation trails plan. Governor's budget. Including $10 million this year for projects, projects. And there's also $10. He had applied last year, scored, they break it into two tiers, so it's low, medium, and high score. We scored the high category, but we did not. They had 9 million last year. Vector who works with Deep, got to me and said, we applied, really close to get. Talk with you about a couple of tweaks. She sent me the score sheet. But I know the areas that we scored low. I had a meeting with her and the manager of Parks. Tweaks to talk about what we can do to boost that up. Project was continuing the work of Park. We did work over the internet years ago. Our big goal, big assessment that goes all the way through top property.
Oh, that was,
Yeah, so gotta start. This project is directed towards. And I also gave them the ARPA money to do a trail wayfinding project. So that was the updates for the trails task force. The athletic fields, we're still in contract negotiation. Like that.
so you have selected.
We have
A
selected
contract.
somebody, but I can't really say because. we're still- Next meeting. What is? That project.
Events to develop the construction plans.
Yeah, that's doing the design process.
I'd see it. No, I personally looked through my question. What that do here.
Well, I don't know how much, oh, so maybe we just open it up for questions.
Good with that. Jim, do you wanna just go around for Jim? Any questions on the CIPs?
Nope, no questions.
But I have a couple questions. I looked through them. I meant to go bounce them off the park priorities. There's most people that knew I'd be today. So, but anyway. So, the. First, there was a Tangle, I'm just gonna go in the order, I just wrote them down. There was a Tanglewood Park or whatever. You're talking about canoe racks, I think that was like.
Yes.
Do those canoe racks, they just for anyone to use, do you rent them? What,
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is the same model that Spicer House. Plus. Some spot. This goes back to. One of the needs that was identified. These assessments, more accessibility, so not everybody has. Place that they can store their kayak. And so, put these racks in. I think that. Keeps it. Whole bunch, Tanglewood. Oh, the Parasite boat. But they're actually. Good. That's, so people want more.
that makes sense, so it's good, cause then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I just wanna make sure like it wasn't just like given to some boat club or something.
Oh, no,
So,
no,
I'm
no.
good, that'll answer my question. That's what I was getting. Parents out. Your boat launch.
Parasite boat. launch.
Yes, heard of that. Two questions. One, there's two bits of money. There's 28K and 100K.
Right.
Is one for a study, one for construction?
Yes. So one is planning, permitting. Design. And the other is.
And how big of a boat? Is this for like a little dinghy, or is this for like a 20-foot boat, or like? a kayak boat?
Well-
What is this boat?
There's a lot of fishermen that use this. And I think go under the backs.
Okay.
And then go out.
My small boat boats or something.
Yeah, so it's. not
People can
just-
back a trailer on, it's not just. a
Yes,
carrier.
yes, it's trailer. Not just. Problem is. Age now, doesn't go out far enough. And there's a drop off at the end. Age. So someone's trailing their boat. So the end of the paved section and road is not far enough. And, you know, it drops.
The trail is
Well,
up.
yeah, and it drops.
And there's a lot of people use, so I know the area, I've not. Get it, does it have a good parking lot? You go to-
Oh, yeah, there's a good sized parking lot. This parking lot set up for boats, you know, they've got.
Like, I mean, I know a lot of people in Long Island, it's not a Groton, type, a lot of people in Long Island, so it's the same type of concept that, where a lot of
It
people
is.
use it.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't, you know,
On a 30 foot.
any type of boat that has ice, you know.
But a lot of people who
Fishermen.
use it for their.
Oh, yeah,
purpose. Maybe not people, a lot of, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's a good amount of money to use, but a lot of people use it. But if you get like the once a week person using it, it's probably not the best. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
There was an item in the facilities improvements for fitness stations. I'll just give you my, it's way out there in 27. Not that really. We have one in our community. I've
Yeah,
never
it's-
seen anyone use it.
It's old.
It's old. So I guess what I'm
So
saying
this
is like,
yeah,
do
we're not
people
looking,
use these?
we're not looking to. There's been,
They're better stuff people use now.
oh, yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah, and my plan is to supplement, hopefully up to half the donation from.
If there's some people we use, I used to say in our community it's old, but like you can still use it. I've never seen a single body.
Yeah,
When
no,
I first moved there,
Yeah.
people were using
Were they?
it, like especially people from those.
Yeah. Yeah.
They,
Okay.
but I actually brought it up, I think, last year we were worried if I would word this reading.
right,
Maybe.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, I just
yeah,
experience what I'm
they
saying.
used to,
Okay.
but. it used to.
It's,
The golf course, so it had a bunch of things in it. I thought it was all good. The two feedbacks I have is one, I think it'd be great if we put a little bit of signage inside the clubhouse to show what we've done. So like, if I drive to the state of Rhode Island, have signs that say the bridge is under construction, right? Like,
oh,
love
yeah,
it. Like as a
Yeah,
taxpayer,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I always feel like I can't waste it. I look at one of those, I see, like, I think I saw one that was under, one that was over budget, one that was over time, everything else. But I mean, like, if they actually had real-time status on it, it was nice to know what was going on.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great whole budget, printed sign on something outside there to show people what has been done the last year or two with
Right.
things, what's coming, what'll come in, maybe even some of the cost people know, hey, we put a good amount of money in here. Or,
Right.
like, I think
Yeah.
it's a cheap thing that'll probably get a lot of people. Whatever you did.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Under budget,
On
Under
time,
schedule,
something,
yeah.
something. I saw one that was red. I was surprised actually. But I mean, it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it gave
Yeah.
a time frame and it gave a cost, something simple, right?
I think a perfect example is playing field at this community center,
oh, yeah,
you know, that-
we were over budget. Didn't meet our-
But it gave people that, it was more of that stuff was getting done.
Yeah.
Whatever you. And then I know, I think you said these went by priority, so like, I'll just leave it at that, looks like it's a good one. I was surprised that we would wait till fiscal year 30 for the last page. The second paragraph, that thing gets
Oh.
bogged down, always flooded, it's always like, it seems like something that our highway or public works could do in the winter. It seemed like it was far out there, so I mean, I'm not telling you maybe that from the need study, the other ones were higher. So my ask was just take a peek at it, and if you have a lot of good comments, of course, you can weigh in. Now, it's on page 3, that FY 30 funds that we have.
What page?
Yeah, it's a program for FY. And it's on the section. Yeah, I'll ask the public works.
Not saying this one, but it just seemed like it was something. I don't know if there's an engineer, it just seemed like
Yeah,
there's a better way to do business.
the focus, we do offer satisfactions.
Yeah.
Or focus. So that usually is our. Also been focused needs, because, when this course was designed. We're getting 35,000 rounds, so the tees, they're getting teed up. Some of, in some cases, are small. Bigger, bigger. So that's kind of the focus, but I can certainly ask for the courses.
That's what I'm saying, so
Yeah.
you made other one on the top, maybe the top one to do, but that was, it seemed a long time now, but something we made. It was. So page 4 for everyone, the top one for this year, this is the year. 40K for park clients, I just don't really understand what we're. Like, I know you did a bathroom in one place, and but like, I see 40K and I see a lot of parks, like, what is that get?
Oh, yeah, so these are creating accessible routes, so some.
Is that parking lots with the?
Yes, yeah, so, like at Sutton Park, Public Works last year did a paved path from the parking lot out to the sets of bleachers. Well, they actually did it in 2 different places, because those bleachers should be accessible to somebody that's using a walker or a wheelchair. And so they reconfigured, redesigned an area. They also actually did a project in England going on, and they created a parking spot off the road. And designated as parking, so that somebody can get access to that playground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is doing that same kind of work at different places. So for example, like at one at Plains Park, there's 3 sets of bleachers that line up along the side of the football. There's no way for somebody to get from there. So what we would be looking to do is putting in grass pavers. So the grass will go through the pavers, but it's a solid surface. So the guys can continue to mow the grass, but there's a solid surface that somebody in a walker or wheelchair can get out, be able to sit, watch the game on grass, whatever, just like somebody that's fully mobile. So those are the kinds
That
of
makes
projects.
So that, glad to hear that's a good.
Yep.
Sometimes. I think that. Wouldn't use that area, but that seems like a good one, because you probably want people that want to watch. So you can.
Yeah, people struggle.
That makes sense. I guess what I'm getting at is, if someone's gonna be active in a wheelchair, in my opinion, like, they're gonna be able to get through the area to get to the high ropes course, because they have to do the physical high ropes course, so they're gonna be active enough to get through the wood chips to get there, right? They can't do the high ropes course. But in this case, you have a lot of people that are coming that want to view others, so it's a really good thing.
Yeah.
But it's, in my opinion, it's a waste of money to waste someone that's super active is gonna get there anyway, because they have to be active to do the sport. So like, this is a good one, I think.
Yeah.
Versus,
Yeah, or,
Yeah, the others-
like it,
make no sense for the use.
at Raheem Park Park, so. Like, it's way away from the road, and grandmother wanted to take her grandson, grandchild to the playground. She might not be able, he or she might not be able to get there if they don't walk.
Mhm.
So providing access is, and some of the pieces of playground equipment are actually fine for those that really fit, so it gives them access to the playground. They can't use everything applied, but there's pieces of the playground that they, so there's an accessible route to that playground, and yes, yes, yep.
The knowing school, page 7. Where is it? Pretty good one.
Knowing school is at the top of. So it's really close to Spicer Park. It's where the knowing school used to be.
It's building a community park.
And that because knowing there really is. There's a park next to the fire station as or the basketball. But it really is.
And so that's been, I know, like we looked at it, like there was a bunch of sports equipment in certain areas of town, like certain areas like good hotspots, but certain areas of town, barren. So we think that this is a good place from the
Yeah,
diversity of the town to build a park. That's
we're not looking.
so it's a community park for
The
people.
neighborhood is.
Yeah.
Really want the garden, which we have there, and so, yeah, some of this is additional garden work, and then also creating like some pocket paths.
I guess I'm trying to say is like, is this the right area for the playground or is the sub base the right area? That's what I'm trying to get at, like,
yeah,
is this the
so
best
the-
use of an area to put a playground in? Like, I know it's 2 phases, this year's the prep, but. not
Well,
playground
no,
phase,
this is
but
actually
the-
some of the. Construction this year.
We think this is the best place.
Yeah, we already have, we've already. Plans and public input. This is where everybody wants.
Aquatic study, so like there's one to put in there, I know it was getting cut down, but I assume if it's a go, I assume this would tell us basically the type of pool that or
Yeah.
aquatic structure we wanted. And it would also give the town facts of, I assume because you get a pool, you get the type of pool people would want,
Yeah.
and I assume it would come with cost.
Yeah.
Build maintenance, so if all the facts would be there, that the town
We
would
would
decide
have the
where
facts,
to
and
go.
then the town can make the decision. No, we can't. afford it. Yes. Now.
But
You know,
this
how
would
much
give
it's
you all
gonna
the
cost.
facts at the end of this.
And for 30 years, it was community has said they want.
Last question I had, because to the Deerfield playground, so it's out in years to replace. Is there was an item up front for a bunch of benches and stuff to go in, would that be considered in ours? Under your benches?
Potentially, I don't wanna invest money in them. But. I know this.
And then the dollar figure in there, I thought that seemed low if you're replacing. You had 125K when I looked through the book recommendations, but like if you were replacing the 2 swing sets
Oh,
and
yeah,
that, like
no,
that
I
seemed
think-
very low.
Yeah, I think it would be that one,
Just go one plate,
the one playground.
a swing set.
Playground. That's a step. Not sure that. or- But I mean, that would be something that we would,
And good to
Probably
years.
involve the community. yeah,
I have a little kids.
Yeah.
Swing,
Yeah.
yeah. I know it's big, so like one set is half and half.
You need little kids.
And I agree, it just
However-
it seemed like it was cheap to do replacing.
yeah, so it would be just that one area by the basketball court.
Yeah, the one by Bethel has 2 sets of things.
Yeah.
And so if we're doing that out years, the chips in there, really need to replace them. We get new chips next year. I know we didn't do them now because if we were gonna do it in a year from now, why would we put
But
the
it's,
chip?
we've got.
But now she's pushing back at your question, to put chips in. The upcoming. Like the other one was really nice. So you did the same.
Oh, right, the one of them.
Yeah, that would be good. Did not have any other stuff. Anyone else question? Yeah, piece now. Mark, do you just give this in now? Or this is the town says yay or nay, or do you need to give them a like? There's a lot of good info in here. So my 2 questions are: you got this packet of stuff, right? You
Yeah.
give it to them, they decide like, they might say, I'm gonna do none of these, I'm gonna do half of these. Do they ask you to say, do they ever come back to you and say, I guess my question is, you give it to them, what's the next step? And then do they ever ask you to say, hey, I got $1 million to give? What would be your top 5 with the million, right? Because maybe you have 3 small projects, and you have one project that you want to, okay, but that's a good product, like,
Right,
how do you
right.
prioritize them, what do they do?
Yeah, so the next step is, it's gone to the planning department. Planning department is all of the CIP. Because Works has CIPs, or Med has CIPs, everybody. And they put them into the document that goes to the town. Town manager will then go. We'll sit down with our questions. Know that the requests be what. And then, so his recommendations go to council. We sit in front of the town council, they'll ask questions about the projects, and they'll make a decision. A recommendation. Fund it or not fund it. Those recommendations that go to the RTM, they'll ask questions. And generally, though, they don't say, we're gonna give you $1 million. They'll say,
Yes or no to each project.
they'll say yes or no to each project.
That's what I was getting at, I would like to attend a town council. That's what I was getting. It sounds like the town manager takes a cut and just says, this is off the list, no matter, doesn't even make it to the vote. There's some first round dissemination, we'll say,
Right,
and then like
right.
the town council goes, I would like to understand which one made it to there and go to that.
That, I don't know. February. All of this is set by charter. Has to go to the town council by a certain date. That's by a certain date.
And any ideas, like, do you think it's gonna be like March timeframe issues when I should look at?
Yeah, and I'm not sure that the public. Well, I know our date hasn't been set. I don't think we set.
That's fine, so March timeframe is probably the count,
Yes.
that's fine, I can just look on it, I just wanna know if it's like
No,
October or like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole process.
Alright, good. So I guess. Where is open, we got through everything.
I have just one remaining question. I noticed that you're hiring for the aquatics
Yes.
program. Where is the swimming gonna be? At Neighbor Point?
Yes.
Oh, so resuming.
Yes, not the full schedule. Partly. Funded. And this is something.
Oh, yeah.
People.
Will there be any open swim time or is it all lessons? Mhm.
Sure. Those that we have, we just.
Yes. Oh, really?
Where do they swim? Oh. They have a bubble.
It's not being-
No.
but.
Yeah.
Strike that from the-
Don't
But
have to
this
be.
is where we need to.
I mean, but technically, the other pool's not a town pool anyway. It's a facility.
But if you do it, I mean, in the end.
How they did it, yeah.
Here,
Mhm.
because I do think that.
I assume that town.
Looks like it. Pretty sure it is, but. Business.
We're all putting our things.
Sorry, I'm like pushing up the next.
You're being very good at saying names.
I look fair enough,
It's
yeah.
February 28th, I think.
I think it was the
No.
8th, and then we talked about, but
Next meeting is, yeah, that's on.
That's 8th on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then we'll have a discussion.
Come on up, Paul.
Then the last they may have on.
And I will second it.
Favor?
good to adjourn, Jim. Anything else?
No, nothing else.
Oh. That was a marathon.
Wow.
Don, we blew his 1 hour.
I mean, it took-
Probably 49
it took a while.
That's for my family looking for me. They were
Yeah.
like.
And it took, I mean, it was good, but in the interest of, it was good. We did, it just, that's a,
It's
it's okay.
It was nice to meet.
I thought.
Yeah,
I liked
The
it.
no,
golf
I-
discussion,
What's that?
the golf discussion.
I mean, so both of those were really, but it's okay. Yeah, it is what it is.
But it was nice
All right,
to see you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
We will see you,
Next meeting.
not sure. Oh, terrific, okay. How long
Thank
are you
you.
in Florida?
Oh, for a while.
Okay,
A
all
while.
right, well, enjoy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Jim.
Elizabeth, I have to ask, your top Eddie Bauer, is your top Eddie Bauer?
No, it's,